Um, all right. I think all of you have been through this before, but we're gonna kind of recap, and then this is gonna be kind of that's a sheet right there. DJ. Yeah. This is just a very simple little business plan you can put together, and there's several different models here. I know Rob did his. Market Leader has a good one. I think you can go right. Can you get this?
Yes.
If I show it here, do people see it?
Yeah, when I send the email, I send the link to that one,
Okay.
the Market Leader link. So they should, I put it as prerequisite, so they should be able to print it, work on it.
Okay, good. So we're going to work it through that. I'm actually at the Breakthrough Broker site. They have free tools for agents, and they have basically a very similar plan. I know Rob did one, and it was very similar also. So mine is also very similar, and it comes from a different resource. So what I want to do with this is kind of a precursor to the class we're going to kick off in January. And it basically is, well, I have on the screen here. I don't know if I can show that. Maybe I can't. If you can read that back there. On that screen, there's.
You see, the screen is for being recorded.
Oh, so what I'm showing here isn't recorded. Okay, well, then you didn't see what I did. Okay. What I have on the wall, I've written, and it's part of a coaching format, but it's really, it works for anything, and it's called the GROW model. You have to have goal setting. G stands for goal setting, the R is for reality, which is where are you now? O is options, strategies, courses of action. And then the W is what is to be done, by whom, by when, and what will be done. So the very first thing you need to know is where are you now? Where are you going to go? It's like planning a vacation. You need to know where you're going to go before you can go anywhere. So, and I know over the years, I think we were talking about it earlier, that most people take longer to plan their vacation than they do to plan their life, or they plan their business or anything like that. So I think it's absolutely critical in real estate to just kind of know what you want out of it. You have to know if you want to sell 50 homes or 10 homes or make $1 million or make 100,000 or make 10,000. You can't not know that and get into this and expect to have any kind of success. You really got to know what you're trying to do. And it all starts with, what is the end goal? You know, do you want to live in a mansion somewhere? Do you want to travel the world? Do you just want to make another 20,000 a year and support yourself? And but it all starts with goals. So that's what this class is about. And I think it's important enough that we're going to do it twice here. Rob did it once. I'm going to do it again. So it's a follow up. And here's a couple of those for anybody else that comes in. So this business at a glance that I'm handing out in the office, if anybody that's out there listening wants one, just send me an email. I'll forward it to you. It's just a Word doc I put together based on all of these different templates and strategies to put your business plan together. But the very first thing on there is you got to know what your cost of living is, what your cost of doing business, all that stuff is. So you need to take some time and figure that out. I mean, you need to know, what is your mortgage, what are your medical bills, all the rest of that. Let me see if I can pull that up here. I apologize. I had one in my head, and then I started doing a couple other ones. If you look at what I'm scrolling through, Breakthrough Broker actually has this all recorded too. They have a Succeed plan. You can go there and watch it. Breakthrough Broker is free to all agents. I think it's a wonderful resource for us. But a lot of the things you need to know about are, just how much does it cost you to live and how much do you need to survive? And then you want to put your dreams and all the rest of that stuff into that top number on this business plan, and then you work backwards from there. So once you know that number, let's say your number happens to be $250,000, that covers everything and gives you a nice $150,000 income above and beyond, so you can do what else you want with it. You need to put that number in the top, whatever that is. And it's not something you can just spend a minute to do. You really got to take some time to do it. So the resource that Lorena sent out, and if you have Rob's previously, go through those, look at your numbers and see what you really need to calculate all of your expenses. But I'm going to kind of go on past that. Put a number in there just to start this one, and then you can go back and work on it yourself. You maybe do it in pencil now if you want to, but let's say your total income needed, I'm going to say 250,000 is my number. I want to have a $250,000 a year income. So the next step is you got to multiply that times 1.3, because that's going to add your taxes into it. I think this other strategy says divide it by 0.7. It's the same number. So multiply it by 1.3, divide by 0.7, whatever you want to do. It's going to give you another number, and that's going to be your net business income. In my case, I think it was 310,000 is what my net business income. That's going to allow me to pay taxes and whatnot out of that. The next number you need is going to add up all of your business expenses. So the first number doesn't include business expenses. It's the very first number you're doing. It's just your living expenses. Just what does it cost me to survive day to day? Then you're going to add your business expenses, which is going to include E&O, your marketing, your board dues, office dues, anything you can think of. And in my case, I mean, I have a very, very small marketing budget. I might spend $5,000 a year on mine, and 4,500 of that includes rounds of golf. So it's, you figure out what you need to spend it on and add that number into it also. What that's going to give you is your gross business income. All right. So my number would be 315,000 if the other numbers were what I'm saying there. So 315,000 is my total. So now I need to find out, maybe I should be writing these in as I'm going so I'm not losing track. But if my number is 315, now I need to figure out how am I going to get to that number. So that's the end goal, getting to that number, 315,000. Then you need to figure out what is your average sale price, okay? My average sale price this year is about $750,000. If I multiply that times 0.25, anybody have a calculator out? They could, what's that number? I think it's 18 something.
18,750.
18,750 is my average commission. It's a nice average commission. Sorry, I put that in the wrong place. 18,750 is the average commission. So now I got to divide your gross business income by number 5. So I need to divide 315 by 18,750.
So what we're
16.8.
reviewing, John, very quickly for people, I have 3 people online, is this form that we could send it to you, or is also online, the market leader?
Yes, Market Leader has one, and Breakthrough Broker has one too. It's a little different than, I just did a real simple 1 page here, so that's why I call it a business at a glance. It's not 20 pages, it's not 6 pages, but it's walking through the worksheet. Say that number again, 16.8?
No, what was it? Yeah, 16.8.
16.8. So
Do you want to open this one in your hard drive?
yeah,
That way they see.
Sure.
See
good call. Give me a second here, and I will pop that one open. Since you're seeing everything I have, I got a lot of secrets in here. That's not where I went to. What did I call it? Business at a glance. Maybe I should just be filling this out as I go.
Yeah, I would look at it, yeah.
So if my total income, I'm going to go back and just do this. My total income, well, it's going to change. Yeah. If it's 250 and then my net business income is 310. Well, let me see. Give me some actual numbers here to work with. 315?
Yeah.
Is that 1.3 times 2.5? I got calculator over here.
325.
325 is the number I need, and I add in all my expenses, and I think what I said there was maybe 5,000 a year. So then my total gross is 330. That's going to change the number that I had before. So my average sale price right here is 750. My average commission, I just figured the average commission is about 2.5% when you give a little discount on listings and sellers. So I just averaged it instead of going to do both sides of it. Actually, I don't need to change that number because that number is what exists there. And then that number 750 was 1875. And I got to divide that number, and that came to, well, let's do that math again, because I now need to divide,
330,
yeah, 330 by 18,750.
17.6. 18 houses.
So that, I'm gonna get rid of that dollar sign there, because it's actually, I need to sell 17.6 houses to make what I need, and then it says divide the average commissions by earned per let's see here. By average commissions earned per transaction. Okay,
That's your 18.
we'll just do 18 there, yeah. So my annual I'm not sure why I have those other two in there. I think they're the same thing. So my number is 18. So I have to sell 18 houses a year at 750,000, which I do it simpler in my head. I just figure I got to sell 9 million and hit the number. I think it's actually a bigger number than that, looking at this number now. But so whatever that number is, it's one of these things that you need to know. You need to know how many transactions you have to do a year, and then you got to understand that in the first and fourth quarters, you sell about half what you would sell in the middle 2 quarters. So you want to take that number, multiply 18 by 0.6.
In your first quarter.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the income now. Sorry. So I didn't have my income up here for so. I'm sorry. What'd you say it was?
10.8.
That doesn't sound like it's going to be right.
What was the
18 times 0.6, that would be 10.8.
point?
That means I'm doing more transactions. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
We might have to redo this class.
Whose turn
I'm
is it?
going to be doing more transactions in those 6 months than I am in the other 6 months.
Yeah.
Actually, this says 18, so I don't know why that number. Wow. I blew through this a little quicker than I had expected to. Let me step back. Let me step back here.
That's 4.5.
What's that?
If you quarter, you're doing a quarter.
But I think once I like once you do all this and you know what your revenue number is,
Right.
then that is the guiding principle.
Right.
Then you go backwards.
Well, no, but you already know going throughout the year. I just did my third transaction and this number.
Right.
So you don't have to really-
Bottom line, if I need 18 transactions, I know I got to do 12 in the middle of months and 6 in the end. I mean, I know that math in my head. This calculator,
So
this
18
isn't
divided by 12, you need to have about 1.5 transactions a month.
right. But you're going to do more of them in the slow months or
Right.
more in the busy months and less. So I'm going to do 2 a month. I'm going to do 2 a month, May or April through October. I'm going to do 1 a month, November through March, basically.
Right, because of the cyclical.
Yes. So there's a sheet right there for
Sorry, I
Melissa.
thought you were downstairs.
No, they wouldn't let us have that place.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Um,
just walked in. I've already caused a commotion.
Uh-oh. Plug that back in. Yeah, good luck. It goes in the backside. Here, I'm gonna have to lift that off and plug that in. John, you wanna help me with this? That's sure.
I'm so sorry.
Lift it way off. Lift the whole thing up. And then you can look on the backside and see where it goes. And go right about where your face is.
Sorry, John.
That's where we have it easy to get on and off. Good. And maybe I don't have to cast it if you guys are all seeing what's on here anyway.
Is there anybody out there that's online out there?
Yes. I
Yeah,
have
but they're not
Erin,
watching
I
that,
have,
so.
My leader, and I have Paulo, yes, so very still the court.
All right, and again, I apologize. I did this all last night, and it all made sense when I did it, but now it's not adding up. So, but bottom line is, I need 18 transactions a year to hit this number. If I want to make 250,000 net income a year, I need to do 18 transactions at a 750,000 average sale price. So when you know that number, then you can back into it all. You need to know, okay, what neighborhoods, what type of marketing, where do I want to go with that? again, I focus on golf course properties, and I do that because the average price point is about 800,000. So it's a nice price point for me to focus on. It's going to hit my numbers if I do that many. A lot of what I do is referrals, so I have to pay 25% out to a lot of my to the other agent involved that's sending the referral fee. So I'm not too, these numbers aren't going to be exact, but this is how you back into it and how you do what you do. So pull this up here. So when you're just starting out, I mean, you need to really know what all your expenses are. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, YouTube, especially knowing that you're brand new to real estate, you need to know what I want out of real estate. Where do my numbers come from? Where am I going to get them? You need to back into it this way and just say, here's everything that I need to spend money on, and then back into it from there. So.
And we have the spreadsheet that I did. And it's online, right? Because it actually, yeah. I got that from. There's another thing I just tailored. It wasn't even in Excel. I put it in Excel. I tailored it to my needs, so I added a whole bunch of stuff. But automatically if you plug your numbers in, automatically calculates like the total dollar amount, how much is marketing and all that stuff for you. Yeah,
so I guess my suggestion is if you want the Excel sheet, send me a note. We'll send you Rob's if you don't have it already, because it was put pretty well together, and
I can send out, I've got a really good one, the Ninja.
A Ninja one?
Yeah,
Okay.
from Larry Kendall, the Ninja spreadsheet tracker.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yeah, there's several of them out there. The bottom line is, yeah, in real estate, you got to know what your end goal is so you can get there. I mean, you can't just like most agents do, willy-nilly just say, oh, I'll do a deal here, I'll do a deal there, and gosh, at the end of the year you made 100,000, but your tax man says, I need 35 of that right now, and you're like, okay, I guess I got to go sell another 5 houses to get my taxes. So it's a business. You got to plan it as a business. You got to run it as a business. And again, I have a little bit different format than this because I know what my bottom line is, but I do it. I wanted to put something together that was very simple. Obviously, this wasn't simple enough that I could even do it, so it's not as simple as I thought it would be. But that being said, there's several different options for doing that. I have a what I call my game plan, and it's basically a two-page worksheet. I don't know if maybe I can pull that up here to show you guys that one. My game plan is something I look at every single Monday. I revisit it, so I want to know if I'm on track. It's an Excel sheet, and it basically says, here's what I'm all about. Here's who I am, my mission, my vision, what makes me different. And this is something that the class we're going to do in January is going to be all about, putting one of these together. By doing all this stuff, and you can see my mission is to help agents create their ideal lifestyle. Then there's strategies on how I'm going to do that. And it has to do with connecting with different agents, teaching agents, becoming a social media expert, using different email campaigns. I'm not going to read all these, but you get the gist of it. There's a whole package here together that you put together, and you can see that was actually 10:30. I put the wrong date in there, but I revised it on October 30th, and I usually revise it every Monday, go through it. So my 12-month objections show up in here. I'm trying to write a book, so I got to do so much on that. I want to sell $6 million in real estate, bring in 200 new agents, write 150 blog posts to do that. So there's a lot of strategies and what my goals are for 12 months, and then quarterly, and then monthly. And I can break it down. I can look at this, and you can see right here on the left side, if these numbers 1, 2, 3, they go back up to this format here. So you're going to plug these numbers into where they belong in here. Who's responsible for them? You can see that I have Lorena and Rob's initials in here. We're putting together a mentor manual, the 3 of us, and there's a couple other people that are helping out with that. But so the goal is to get your initials off this site and to fill it up with other people's initials so that they can help you get to where you want to do, where you want to
John,
be.
this is you as a broker. For example, a new agent for an existing agent, we could put on how many networking events do we need to attend, how many people do we need to attend, I need a month to start
Exactly.
meeting the leads and the customers I need.
Exactly. So that's what this is all about, and this is what I want to work on. So, Jamal's doing very good with open houses. He's putting I don't know, a few people every single weekend into his database. And that's all people that at some point are going to say, yeah, I'll use you, or I won't use you, whatever. But at least he's doing that. He's getting a lot of people. He will probably have a very wonderful 2018 because of the work he's putting into it now. And that's one of the things that sucks about real estate. It just takes time to build that up. And if you're willing to put the work in, then you can get it.
So is this a spreadsheet we could share with us? We could just
Absolutely.
make a plan, make it a template, and then we could send it to everybody?
Yeah, I used to do this when I'd meet with a brand new agent. I'd sit down and I'd find out I'd find out their situation, what they're about. I have this, it's a template. I can put it together for anybody. Very easy to do. So, but for me, I call it the game plan as opposed to a business plan, because, you know, the business plan, you need to find out, you know, a business plan is typically something you take to the bank and say, here's my business plan. This is something that you're going to sit down and work with every single week and revisit and say, okay, am I doing it? Did I hit it? Somebody mentioned it earlier that they, was it you that was talking about, gosh, maybe it was Rob, saying, oh shoot, yeah, I forgot to do that this week. I think Rob was telling me that when we were sitting in the other room. You sit down with other people, and that's a big help. I mean, you want to have other eyes on your business. You want to have people that are
It's because I met with Jamal this morning.
Right, that's what
And
it
I
was.
realized that like I didn't do as much as I should have last week because I was focused on my HOA board election.
Right,
So
right.
I didn't really do what I needed to do. So
Yeah, and that kind of all falls into play with this. So you do this with other people, you do it with the community, and you sit down and you meet once a week and you talk about, here's what I plan to do this week. Some people might say I'm going to make 100 phone calls. Some people might say I'm going to go to Starbucks 3 times with friends. Whatever it is, do something you can commit to that's going to be meeting people and talking, you know, having buying questions.
I think it'd be very useful as sort of a common framework for people when we're trying to work together, because we're coming from different backgrounds with different templates and formats and all this stuff. If we could say, hey, what's your game plan looking like? And we could kind of take whatever game plan we had before and sort of fit it into this. We
Absolutely.
would be sort of looking at the same sort of, you know, thing and be able
Absolutely.
to kind of talk more of a common language.
Yeah, and it's and you know, if somebody, you know, people say I need an accountability partner, and I think I don't like accountability. I like support, because I think it's your business. Run it how you want to run it. If you don't want to do something that day, you didn't do it. I'm here to support you, and I'm not here to say, God damn it, get your ass out there and do it. If you need that, you shouldn't be in real estate, because real estate is all about you and what you're doing. So if you need somebody to kick you in the ass to make you do what you need to do to make money here, then you probably aren't going to last long anyway. This probably isn't right for you. This is a business that sets you up for whatever you want in life. I mean, it is the most amazing thing you can set yourself up for. But if you don't get that out of it, you're never going to get excited having somebody else telling you what to do all day. You know, a lot of it is learning the little systems and tools you got to do. But I literally the last 5-6 years, I don't feel like I've worked a day in my life the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, the first 10 years, I worked every damn day, and it was drudgery. And when I figured this out, this was a class I went to in 2010. And when I figured this out, my life changed. It was like, this is fun. I mean, it is fun what I do. I have a blast. I meet people. I network. The thing Rob and I went to talk to new agents, somebody asked the question, how many hours do you work a week? How many hours do you put in? And I said, how many hours do you put in and how many hours do you work are two different things. I probably put in 100 hours a week, but I don't think any of it's work. I mean, what I do is I have a lot of fun doing what I do. You know, it's, I listed 2 homes last week. I got one under contract, and I hate to say I wasn't really trying, but I wasn't really trying. It just kind of comes because of all the rest of the stuff that you do. And that happens when you get into this after a while. Lorena knows it. I mean, she's put in the early stages to where now what she does is just, this is what I do as a day-to-day in my life. I mean, this is the lifestyle I have. So
On the email I sent for the invitation of this meeting, I send you the link for the market leader business calculation. And on page 17, it tells you more or less what to do per each month. That way, on any given month, you know what you're doing, how many open houses, how many network events, how many people are you meeting. That way, you feel you're working, but filling out with activities you need to be doing to later on harvest.
right.
Good job.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I probably told each and every one of you, my strategy is I play golf once a week. I go to a happy hour once a week, and I have a big Christmas party and a big barbecue. That's my entire marketing strategy, and I can fill this whole thing in based off that and do follow-ups because of what I've done from that. So you got to find what fits you and what you like. I mean, but, you know, I know Jamal's learning. You got to have real estate conversations. You got to get out there and just talk to people. And that's the part that you have to get past this hump. And once you have that and you feel confident, then you just create whatever marketing plan you want to create. I mean, it's literally, it's the easiest business in the world. It's just not simple. I mean, it really is. It's
Back to the accountability partner. Maybe it's the wrong word, but I do think that each individual needs somebody or some people that they know, like, and trust that they can bounce ideas off of. It's not necessarily how many calls did you make today or how many
right.
notes did you write today, but what did you do? I mean, ours was basically talking about what transpired in the last week, and Jamal had tracked how many calls he made, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But somebody that you can trust, that you can talk to.
Right, and that's why I call it a support group instead of accountability. It's yeah. I mean, whatever you want to call it. I just holding someone accountable. It feels like, I failed, and it's like we're not failing at what we do. You just didn't do it. Figure something out that you want to do and go do that. I mean, it's there's a lot to this business that is not fun to do, but if you find ways to do it that's fun, then you're more likely to do it. So do that and support people. And I mean, when I went through this class, I was in the class. It was a sales training for business owners, and one of the other people in there happened to be a team leader at a KW. And when we went through this, we said, okay, what are you going to do this week to talk to people? She goes, I'm going to make 100 phone calls a day. And I looked at her like, oh God, that sounds like death. I'm not going to call 100 people this year. So I said, I'm going to talk to 12 people this week, but I'm not going to call them. I'm going to send them a text, say, hey, let's go grab coffee. Let's go have lunch. Let's go play golf. That's how I talk to people. And it was a much softer sell for me. But the bottom line is I'm still meeting with them. And I think face-to-face is so much more powerful than over the phone anyway. A lot of times you got to do the phone thing to get the face-to-face. But your ultimate goal on the phone is just to try to set an appointment. Just, hey, all I want to do is sit and talk to you. We go grab coffee somewhere. That's it. Just that's the goal. It's a very simple thing. When you start doing that, then you start getting the know, like, and trust thing. Because people will only work with you if they know you and like you, but they have to trust you to give you the biggest purchase of their life, So that's kind of a lot of what is involved in this. I think everyone needs to understand why they're doing the real estate, why they're, for me, it was flexibility. It was a lifestyle that I couldn't have owning my own. I mentioned I owned a sporting goods franchise. I put $200,000 into that thing and lost my ass. We lost our house. We lost everything. And I sunk a lot of money into it. And I worked 70, 80 hours a week, and I had 5 employees. I thought, this sucks to be your own business owner. Real estate's totally flip-flop of that. I put $2,000 into this thing, and I own my own business. And I can make whatever I want to make with it. My time is my time. And there's no business like it that I know of. I mean, there really isn't. So let's see here. I kind of ramble, and I do that a lot. What are there questions on any of this? I mean, does everyone understand how to come up with their numbers so they can get a feel for it? And you really got to know. I know some of you guys, like Armando, has a couple other businesses, so real estate may not be his primary thing, but he's gonna start bringing some of his people into that and make money off of it as well.
The question I would have is, if you're newer, or if you're changing niches and stuff, to try to put a number on marketing when you're not sure what you're marketing about. That's a hard thing to figure out.
As far as a dollar amount to spend on marketing, yeah. And again, I would
percentage just kind of start have some framework to start with.
Well, there's
adjust as you go.
There's a number they say that 7%. If you're thinking of making 100,000, you spend 7% on marketing to get to that number. Grab a chair, come on in. I think it's really, I mean, I see guys that spend 25%. I see guys that don't spend a dime. And I think it really matters. My preference for a new agent is don't spend any money on that. I mean, you want to send out your, hey, I'm in real estate announcement, but I would do it personally. I would, you can do a handwritten card, you can do the one mailer, but to spend money on marketing, you better have super deep pockets, and you're in it for 18 months to do that. And you don't even know what you're really marketing. You don't know who you're competing against. So doing the meetings, the face-to-face, the one-on-ones, doing business the way it was done 100 years ago is how I like to reference it, is you got to go sit down with the blacksmith and find out who's the best guy that trains horses in town. You got to find that out, and you do that face-to-face. You don't do that by sending out a mailer, because you're going to get the wrong guy calling you saying, yep, I'm the best guy. But if you sit down with them, I mean, the best marketing I can say is, what does a lunch cost? How much does it cost to take a friend to lunch? Do 3 of those a week. your business will go through the roof. And literally, I did that. I was spending about $25,000 a year on marketing, and I put that money back in my pocket. Said $300 is now my budget, and my business went through the roof.
Buy people once 3 times a week.
No.
If they're your friends at your sphere, you don't have to buy them once.
No, you just ask them to
Or
lunch.
You just
go-
hang in
just
front of
to
them.
meet
We're having
with
lunch.
somebody.
Yeah,
You know.
you don't. I mean, it's not a real estate thing. It's a friend thing. You're just going. Let's go sit down and chat. You know, what are you up to these days? How's the family? What are the kids doing? Whatever. You know.
I understand, as a new agent, you have to calculate your cost, but your first deal will show you either seller or buyer, because then in the first deal, okay, how much the sign cost? How much the showing company cost? And you send them postcards, and then your first deal, you start plugging in those numbers for future deals as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely certain marketing costs, and I know to be a listing agent, you got to spend a little more than you do on the buyer side. Buyer side is more time consuming. So it's what do you got? If you don't have much money, try to find buyers. How do you find buyers? Usually off of signs for sale. So if you can get listings, you're going to get buyers. They say for every listing you get, you should pick up at least one buyer. So that's the easiest way to get it, but you got to get the listings, and you do that by just talking to people, building relationships, and getting to know who they are, what they're about. How can you help them? How can they help you? I mean, it's there's definitely marketing strategies, and I think DJ's learning this right now. When you spend money to market, you have to give something to everyone that sees marketing is expecting a discount, right? I mean, you have to literally spend money to spend more money, or to give money away. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it to get some business generating, but it does cost a lot. That's where I was spending all my money that one year. I spent so much money on the back of the magazine ad, only to give away half my commission when somebody actually called me on that. And I thought, this is stupid. I mean, 87% of my business comes from people that know me and like me. Why am I marketing to the 13% that don't know me and don't like me and could care less about me? Because your business is going to come from those people that know you and like you. So you just need to expand on that and do a lot of personal stuff. If you're not, you know, it can even be, I mean, I've gotten probably 2 or 3 deals a year just from Facebook, and not marketing on Facebook, but reconnecting on Facebook. And I sent a note to somebody I hadn't seen in 25 years. Oh, I see you're on Facebook. You still live in the Denver area? Yeah, I do. We should go grab coffee. Boom. You got an appointment, and you're sitting down chatting. And oh, by the way, I mean, I listed my first golf course home that way several years ago. I just reconnected with a girl I hadn't seen since the 80s, and she goes, oh, I live on a golf course and I need to sell my home. Boom. You know, half hour into the conversation, I'm listing a house for somebody I hadn't talked to in 25 years. You can't get that from spending thousands of dollars just mailing mailers out and giving away discounts. She didn't care what I charged. She liked me and used me because of who I was, and that's the face-to-face stuff and the power of it. So networking is huge, but it's really one-on-one stuff. I mean, everyone in here has 5 people they can sit down with, I guarantee it. And if you can sit down with them and just have a good conversation, you know, the nice thing about doing the open houses is you're going to have real estate conversations with people that don't really matter. You know, if you don't get them, you don't get them, but you had a conversation, you learned something from them. But when you learn something from that, then you're talking to people you actually know. They're going to know that you understand what you're doing. Then you can open up conversation with those people. So see if I can find something in here. Get off there. So yeah, you know, one thing in here, Vision Y and Forever, you need to have a date tied to your goals. That way, otherwise it won't ever, it's just a dream. I mean, if you don't have a date tied to it. So that's why this, you know, business maturity date is what's on this one. You want to write down, what does that look like? And I didn't finish mine, but I just booked my trip to Cancun June 3rd on my birthday next year. So I won't be here next June 3rd. I'm going to go to Cancun with some family and friends and celebrate some stuff. So, but in this particular part of the thing, you want to put in there, you know, here's what I'm going to have done by this time, and here's how I'm going to celebrate. You know, right now my little celebrations are every time I close a deal, I get to play golf. I treat myself to a round of golf. So if I'm a better golfer this year, it's because I sold a lot more houses. If I'm playing poorly, that means I'm either so busy I'm not playing, or I'm not playing much because I'm not busy at all. So you got to have little rewards for yourself. Treat yourself. Maybe it's go out to dinner, take your spouse out or something, and just say, look, here's where it is. You got to acknowledge that what you're doing is you're doing it for a reason, not
Yeah,
just to put
that's
money in your
what
pocket.
I do. I treat my real estate like a business. So every time I have a closing, 30% for taxes, 5% for future marketing, and then we go for a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And then it's continued. That way I know I have reserved money for taxes and marketing
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, and if you haven't been in this long enough, yeah, you'll figure out you got to put some money away for taxes. I mean, I do my quarterly stuff now, and it's like, fortunately, it's jumped up a lot from the last couple of years, but it's like, God, if I couldn't imagine if I wasn't paying those quarterly because we got hit with the bombshell this last year. It was like, oh, all right, I guess I better.
You need to get a part-time job at the golf course.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's how I fund my golf.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I've done that before. I've worked at a couple of golf courses. So, but you just got to find different ways to get out and meet people. And I know this was more of the business plan, but it sounds like we've touched on that. And the resources are out there. Sabella, are you on the email? Did you get the success track? This one? Okay. We'll make sure that you get that. So, has Lorena got your email address?
I wrote it down
Okay.
a while back.
Okay.
34.
Yeah, so get that because there's some good links that we're sending out so that you can track and figure out how to really look at the business. So, what are the questions? I mean, I was planning on going through that goal setting thing, and then I realized that I didn't have it set up too well. Are there any questions on how to find your number, how to figure out what you need? And I know you came in late, so.
One thing I want to emphasize, and a lot of people get into real estate, I want to make millions of dollars on real estate. It's like a business. The first 2 years, you're going to struggle until you get the systems. Maybe the 4th and 5th year, you start having some success. So don't give up. As long as you start having your systems in place. Now, some of us have been 10 years on business, so we could finally say, okay, I have some savings now. But if you're a new agent, just treat it like a business. Keep on feeding your business, feeding your knowledge and your system, and things will start happening.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, it's, I think I've shared with you when I got into this, I joined a company that just gave me business. Well, I was making $300 a closing. I closed 18 homes in my first 8 months, and what did I make? Not even $6,000. I thought, God, how am I gonna ever make this a 6-figure income based on this model? Well, I realized they're taking a big chunk of my money, and that's what you get when you go to a lead gen company. So I transitioned to a full service, and I think I closed 18 deals in the next 12 months, and I was like, oh, this is what I wanted. I mean, I want to close a lot of deals, but I want to make a lot of money, and then I really got into a groove where I kind of toned it down because I wasn't around the house much, and I was doing this because I wanted to be with my kids, not to be gone all the time. So you get
one thing that I heard when I also started, because you get very frustrated, you're a first time agent and you're not making deals. So think about it that 80% of the transaction is from 20% of the active agents. So if you're doing 4 deals a year, you're on the top producers of all the realtors in Canada. So you just need to plug it in and everything and think that half of the other agents are not doing anything. So then chances are you could do something with the leads that you make.
right. And I don't know how many of you were here. So I introduced an investor about 6 months ago. I brought another one in Tuesday. Okay. This guy's looking to buy 20 homes a month. So we have buyers in our back pocket. You just have to network with them, get to know them and what are they looking for, and go find the properties, and they will pay you a commission to help them with these properties. So it's great for a new agent, because it's going to be a lot of learning, but you're going to get paid at the end of the day when you get it done. I literally listed one of these investors' properties, so I helped them buy it 3 months ago. They flipped it. We listed it on Saturday, got a full price offer a half hour later. So we're in the contract. So now I get paid on the sale of it again. And it's not all investors will do that. Most of them have their own realtor that they're going to resell it, but they want to use us as resources to help them find properties. So there's buyers that we have, if you're thinking, God, nothing's going on here. Let's talk with these investors. What are they looking for? Where can you help them find these properties? How to network. And again, a lot of this we'll dig really deep into the classes, but I know a few months ago we had I think Melissa might have been in this class. We had class on divorce, working with divorce attorneys and that type of thing. And I mean, they're what I call fishermen. These divorce attorneys are literally talking to people going through divorce. They need a realtor to hand them off to, somebody they can trust. Well, part of the class was you could be the realtor that sponsors the next attorney class. They're going to have 20 attorneys in the class that need their CE credits. You're the realtor in the class sponsoring it. Guess what? If you get to know them well, there's 20 people there that are probably doing 6 to 10 divorces a year with 2 people on each one, selling 1 house, buying 2 more than likely. So there's 3 deals for every 1 client in that deal. And that's just one resource. You gotta look at that and say, where do people exist that are targeting who I need to target? The end product is what I need. And that's why it's a great thing to specialize. I mean, if you
For many years I did probate. So instead of taking clients for coffee, I would take the probate attorneys for coffee.
Mhm.
Get to know me, and then they would give me, okay, I have a client that is in this situation, and I help them. So my clients were the attorney.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the end result. I mean, if you find 5 or 6 people that will refer you 5 or 6 deals a year, that's a gold mine. If you're just searching for buyers and sellers, those guys are only buying a house once every 10 years. You got to have a hell of a lot of those people to make a good living. But you find the probate officers, the divorce attorneys, like for me, I network with membership directors at golf courses. I mean, because if somebody's moving to Colorado and they're a golfer, they're going to go talk to a golf course they're thinking about. They're going to talk to the membership director to find out if they want to join. Oh, by the way, if you're moving out here, call John. He specializes in golf course communities. So you got to network with the people that are in the world that you're playing with. And then business comes from it. You also need to network with similar type agents in other states. I mean, Lorena knows this. She's built her business off of playing a game. I mean, she plays a game of cash flow with people to meet investors. She does it around the country. She knows investors all around the country because of what she does. I'm getting to know other golf course specialists, and I'm starting to get referrals from them when a guy from here is leaving town to go buy a home on a golf course in another state. Guess what? You need to sell your home in Colorado, have John do it for you. So you got to network with similar mindsets outside of the state too to get more business coming from that. So, and again, we'll dig really deep into a lot of this stuff in January. But the big thing is I wanted everyone to kind of know their numbers, to have a plan for 2018, really, to get a good push, and don't just sit around for the next 6 weeks wishing, that Christmas had more money coming in. Work on that now. I would say between now and the end of the year, see how many people you can sit down face to face with. That'd be a great goal, because that's where business will come from, and you will have a great 2018. What are there, 50 days before? No,
53 days left.
53 days left. Go have, take the weekends off and go 40 days, sit down with somebody 40 times, 40 different people. You will have business lined up without spending a dime on marketing, and you'll have a meal, maybe you'll have a beer with somebody, whatever it is.
Can I tell my sad story?
Yeah, please.
So my first year I did 10 deals. I was exhausted. I made like 30% of my money before taxes. And so in December I was like, I'm really exhausted. I went up to my cabin in Bailey and pretty much just hung out there and didn't do anything to do with marketing for the next year, nothing. Well, January rolls around and, I'm used to corporate America sales. Well, at least I got a paycheck. So then it's like, we don't have a paycheck. Literally, it took me 5 months to get another deal. So, and then last year, I did it all, and I started out the year with a better bang than the prior year. So at least you're starting the year with something. This is not the time of year to do nothing.
Yeah, this is when most agents settle down.
Right.
Don't be most agents if you want to be busy next year.
Yeah, I learned that later on, that everybody slowed down, the holidays had started, people don't buy and sell. So this is my busiest people, because then I'm trying to get the people that is ready to sell in February. So then I want to capture them right now before they find another agent.
That brings up the point about, you make a big commission, or you make a bunch of commissions in the season, and you got the slow season, but how did you pay yourself out of your business plan? Did you sit there and you took the chunk of money and spend it all in June, July?
No. What are you talking about, for marketing or paying
No,
yourself?
for paying yourself, so that it would be slow periods.
Monthly.
Yeah, okay, so when you slow
It's the
periods.
same amount every month.
Yeah.
Just because I made, just because I have 50 deals and make 40 grand, I don't.
Yeah.
Set it up, where even though you receive income or not, pay yourself the same. I mean, it's not an accountant if you have an accountant, but from your business account, pay yourself. That way you survive on the low and the high.
That's
You
what I
have a
do. I
safe.
was just saying, because I know a lot of people that, oh, I got a big commission, and they go,
Well, that's why you should have.
Better go to Paris.
yeah.
The
and
answer to
then-
that is don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the answer to that.
That's why you should have a business account and a personal account.
Yes.
So all your business is over here, and you pay yourself in your personal account. That's where you pay your mortgage, pay car payment, all that stuff. Not out of your business.
Yeah, and I, you know, a smart strategy as realtors, you should invest in what you're selling. I mean, I know Lorena does this. I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah. I do.
I put all
DJ
my money
has-
in thing and I spend my wife's money.
There you go. Yeah, do it that way too. If your wife's,
Don't tell her.
don't tell her.
Yeah. So maybe next year, and we could talk later on, is to bring a CPA or an accountant, how to call yourself as a realtor. 'Cause don't spend your money.
Right.
Keep it, because you don't know when there's low money.
The first step is to get your account set up right.
Yeah.
Have personal savings, business savings, personal checking,
Right.
business checking.
Yeah. Yeah, and First Bank is wonderful with that because I've got my business and my personal right there, and I can just every month just put some money into my personal for my business. Don't have to do anything. It's real simple. And they're also nice because you can put your business card up in their all their lobbies. They allow you to, if you own a business and you're with them, they let you promote your business in their bank. So I like it from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, you got to figure out what's going to work for you, but you don't want to just spend every dime every time you get it too, because that's not a fun place to be. Like Rob said something I wanted to touch on, and I forgot what it was.
Don't forget to save,
Oh.
and then long-term savings.
Well, yeah, so the Christmas time,
Retirement account.
I mean, it's going to be a very festive time for the next 6-8 weeks. Go to as many
That's
parties as you
exactly what I
can.
was gonna say. Now
Just
is one of the best times of the year to go to every event we can.
go network and that's business. I mean, that's what we do. You're out there to socialize and meet people, and and your significant other needs to know that. They need to know that part of what you do is to be social and to meet people, and you should also be playing off of whatever they do. I mean, they should be referring you. You should get 5 to 6 deals a year from your significant other, or family or somebody that knows you're in this business. They should be referring you. So don't be afraid to sit down with family and tell them, look, here's what I'm doing. I know you like me. If you hear anybody that's looking to buy or sell, I just want to have a conversation with them, just an introduction, because a warm introduction, there's nothing like it. I mean, it's golden. They don't ever even ask your commissions. I mean, if they do, that's their first question. You can say, okay, got to watch this one, but whatever, do a deal and you take what you can get, learn from it, and hope you do a great job and get more referrals off that one deal. So back to what's on that wall over there, the GROW model, which is goal setting, short and long term. You need to know, what you're doing this week, next week, and next year, and 5 years and 10 years down the road. That's the goal. That's kind of what we're here for right now. Is you got to know what your goal is. So think about your next vacation. I mean, I'm planning one to Cancun next year, so we've been spending the last 3 months trying to figure out places and how many rooms and all this stuff. My God, I haven't spent 3 months on my business in a long time, but I just did it on our vacation. So then you got to know, where are you now? What's the reality of where you're at? So if your business is zero, okay, how am I going to get to making 100,000 a year or $1 million a year, whatever the number is? You got to go with your options and strategies and courses of actions. How you're going to get there? Here's some options. And again, this is all stuff we're going to dig deep into in January, and then what is to be done. But this is a great thing just to keep in your head about every little thing you do.
Okay, let me see if I can put it on.
Okay.
Stop sharing. And then
Well, to what you were saying about how you're going to do a bunch of your business in that busier season, I found that
Yeah.
if I'm prospecting, if I need to plan to do a bunch of prospecting, I need to be ready to go with that stuff in January, February, so I can do all that, get that all ready to go, so that I'm prospecting when I need to be prospecting, and then when it gets busier in March, April, May, March through August, then I'm focused on my people, my business, and less on growing the business. And so prospecting a lot, focus a lot on January, February, March, and January, February, and then like September, October.
Yeah.
Those shoulder seasons for me.
Yeah, I mean, you should always be prospecting that because that's where your business is always coming from. But, you got to take care of your clients first, take care of them, and then just say, okay, now I got to do my prospecting. So Lorena had brought in Cindy from Send Out Cards earlier. And, I'm familiar with Send Out Cards. And I was kind of blown away with how simple they are and how, we were talking about one of our other agents about how they're writing all of their own thank yous. And he's been writing them since July to get them out in November. That's a click of a button and you send them and boom, they're done. I mean, it literally takes you 2 seconds to do it. Now there's a cost to it and whatever, but there's a cost, there's a cost of mailing them yourself and the time that's involved. Lorena was mentioning you got your $15 task and you got your $200 an hour tasks. You need to focus on the $200 an hour tasks. Pay somebody else the $15 an hour to do it. Send Out Cards was just a no brainer. It's not even, I mean, you're still doing it. It doesn't cost you anything. You click a button and it's gone. I mean, the time involved is maybe 4 to 5 seconds to send a card off or to send 50 of them off. I mean, I was blown away by that. So something I'll look a little closer at. I've never been a fan because I always like to hand write, but when I saw that you can have your own writing in there, I thought, maybe I will look at that a little closer. So, but there's ways to stay in front of him. Like, so to John's point, he's going to be busy in his mid 6 months. You can click a button and still be targeting and prospecting and doing that. I know Lorena mails out just listed, just sold cards around every one of her listings. With that system, you can click it and you can get a quick inventory from your title reps and just plug it in and send off a just listed. I mean, that's really snazzy flyers that they did. I was pretty impressed with them. So.
So we have that on the screen, so I don't know if you want to talk more about.
The Grow model. So, yeah, again, it's very simple. It's a coaching thing that's been around since I think the 50s or 60s, and I'm trying to think of who the original coach was, but he was a trainer, corporate trainer. Rob's probably been through some of the Grow stuff with his corporate training. But the Grow model is, you just got to have goals, and that's the number one thing. If you don't have a goal, nothing else really matters. You're not. I mean, it's like the song that George Harrison. I think if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. I mean, literally, just hop in the car and start going somewhere. You don't know where you're going. All of a sudden, you're there. I guess, I don't know. Maybe you want to get somewhere important. So you got to plan. You really got to plan. You got to have strategies for it. And that's really what the Grow model is all about. I've tried to incorporate. I just was learning about this, reading about this in the last month or so, and it's been very eye-opening. And I've used some of the stuff in there with my clients when I'm talking to them, asking about them, what their goals are. And it's a great conversation, just like the Ford conversation. This is a good conversation to have with somebody when you're sitting down, just think grow. If you're meeting with somebody for coffee or lunch, just say, what are your goals? What are you looking to do? Where are you at right now? How can I help you get there? Because as a realtor, a lot of what we do is helping people get where they want to go. And at that point, they're going to refer back to you. They're going to say, well, geez, I want to help you too. I don't want to just one-way street here, people. It's the old, what are the old guys in the airport that would give you the little flower?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishnas. Their whole thing was they knew that if they gave you something, you were going to give them something in return. And that's what humans are all about. So you go and you help people and offer them your services or your help, they're going to help you get what you want too. So, but again, it's simple. It's just not that easy. So,
Well, it's also for you. Go volunteer, go do something.
Yeah,
where
volunteer.
People get to know you. So I just got elected to my HOA board. I got appointed in May, and I've done mailers in my building, but people didn't know me. But now they know me, and I've been elected, so guaranteed that there's a January mailing going out because they now know who I am. So I can guarantee them the business out of it. So the time invested last week paid off.
yeah.
Now I got to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I wish you the best on the board stuff. I did that
Well,
twice. And
That's
then,
right. I already had to get legal action to sue.
Oh, wow.
With a lawsuit. So.
Wow,
But he didn't win, so that's a good point.
that is good. No, there's all kinds of ways to get out in front of people and meet people, but you got to have real estate conversations, especially the newer agents. You just got to get comfortable with talking about real estate. And when you can do that, then when you're talking to other people about it that you really want as clients, it comes naturally. It comes a lot easier. So it's just doing it over and over. So
Always be selling.
yeah,
But without them, no.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, none of the hard closed stuff. None of that.
No, that's
when are you gonna buy something? But and also bringing in things of value too. bringing something to the conversation of value. Because 9 times out of 10, when somebody asks when I'm having lunch, dinner, real estate always comes up.
Oh, gosh.
Where we are, but if you can sound knowledgeable about something when it relates to real estate, you start to build credibility.
Yeah. Well, everyone lives somewhere, and one strategy, I mean, obviously, you're going to know who you're going to lunch with. Just do a little research on their neighborhood, just so you have it in the back of your head. Here's what homes are going for. Here's what rentals going for. And if they bring it up, you can say, "Oh yeah, I was just looking in the area for another client the other day, and you got 15 homes in the neighborhood for whatever. Here's the average price point." It's a very easy conversation to have because you've already done the research.
And if you go to their house for dinner, do a quick CMA, or I just pull it out of Realist.
Yeah.
I go, hey, here's the average value. Here's what your range is, and explain, when you would get the top dollar from that range, what it takes your house to be perfect, blah blah blah. But they're not going to sell. But hey, here's what your house is worth. Great, thanks.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategies with it. And, so every time I go golfing, I always look up all the homes that are for sale on the golf course, because lo and behold, we're going to play with a couple other people, and there's going to be a for sale sign. I'm going to be
Use
walking
your
by.
home snap app,
Oh, yeah, I could do that too.
because it pulls up the houses right in your area where if you're on the 9th hole.
Yeah, so the home snap,
It
that's a
shows
good one. You can just have it, and if you're going to someone's house, just, okay,
Yeah.
I'm in this neighborhood, here's what's for sale right
Shows
now.
everything right around you. You click on the houses. and
I use Redfin. So every time I go to an event or something, Redfin, I'm selling, because they will ask you, you're the agent, there's a house across the street for sale.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw it.
Lots of strategies, lots of different ideas. Well, I mean, that was an hour. We can brainstorm and talk about other topics and whatnot. I was thinking I was going to spend an hour just on the goal planning worksheet, but I really just wanted to blow through that when I realized we'd done that before. So, anybody have any questions? Anybody have any topics? I've got a listing if anybody wants to buy or do an open house. So Jamal, the open house we're doing this weekend isn't happening.
Oh,
It's under contract, but the one in Berkeley is available. So if you want to hold that, it's haven't had a showing yet. It's one bedroom. That's the tough thing, but I think Chris had 5 people walk through it last weekend. So, but yeah, it's a good, attractive little house that'll attract people coming to it. So
is it down by I-70 and Sheridan?
it's 38th and Federal, basically. They're
Oh, okay.
about
I did
6.
one over there last week on 28th and 28th and Federal.
Okay, yeah, this is 39th and Osceola, basically. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a couple blocks from Lowell, I guess, which is the big strip over there. So,
So you could send us that spreadsheet, the game plan,
Uh-huh.
Yes,
things, and
please.
we could work on it. And either we could meet with you or the other mentors to help you.
fill in
Set
the
up a game
blanks,
plan.
yeah. And all that came from a book called Making Money is Killing Your Business, and I have it here. It's a fantastic book, and it literally walks you through. There's 2 chapters in there that will ask you so many questions that you can dial down and do everything that's on that sheet. And then you come up with your own marketing strategy and what you want to accomplish. Literally, I tweak mine. Like I said, I try to look at it every Monday. I have a reminder, revisit your game plan, 8 o'clock every Monday morning. I'll pull it up. And some days I won't, I'll just blow it off. Some days I'll change 5 different things in there saying, okay, I'm just not doing this. I need to replace that with something I'm doing. So, but it's good to have. And it's, I call it a living, it's a living game plan. It's something that it's literally happening right now. So, anybody want to call some agents? There's 2,000 of them that we want to have join us. Just kidding. Let's see. I think I gave you the game plan, right? I sent it.
I don't think I ever got it.
You didn't get? Okay.
You want to click on the share screen again? So you click to show that one. Share screen and choose that stuff.
Yeah, hang on. I'm not that. I may have closed that. Oh, there it is.
No, you still on.
All I see is the little window here. I don't see. There we go. Okay.
That's stuff. There. Yeah, and now you could share your files.
So there's the game plan again. I can send a blank one. I've got a lot of blank ones. I've done them for. Like I said, I used to do them for every agent that I'd sit down with. I just make a few notes and I kind of fill it in and send it back to them. Say, here's a game plan to get you started, some ideas and topics and stuff. And there was one agent that came in and she was kind of struggling. She'd been in business 2 or 3 years, and I said, well, what do you focus on? She goes, oh, anybody and everybody, anybody that can fog a mirror, I'll help. And I said, okay, that's one problem. You don't want to think that way because you want to be able to focus. You want to be able to help who you can, but you also want to have fun while you're doing it. So we dug into her background a little bit, and she had a history background. She loved, she studied history in college, had a degree in history, and I said, well, why don't you tie that into real estate? And by doing that, why don't you look at historical homes in Denver? And maybe I told you about this one, but she goes, I didn't know that was a thing. I said, there's a lot of homes in Denver that are 100 years old or older. If you can do the research on them, and basically the way you research them is you go knock on the door of a historic home and say, you're a realtor that specializes in historic homes, and you wanted to interview these people to put a book together on historical Denver homes. Well, if you put together 100 of these and you have a book with 100 homes in it, you're going to hand a copy of that to every single one of these people. And if they ever sell, guess who they're going to call? Because your information's in there. That's 100 clients that you went and talked to, and you didn't say a word about selling their home. So, I mean, when she did that, she goes, oh, that was really exciting. I like that because I get the structure, the people, there was a community I was selling, the Baron von Rothschild community, which I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that in Denver, but it's right off of 18th and Monaco. So almost by Dad Clark Drive, it's a couple blocks south. You go east about 2 blocks, and there's this Baron von Rothschild mansion sitting there. And then there's about 20 homes around it that are also historical homes. And I had a client, that's where they wanted to live. So I went into probably half of them when they were on the market. I thought, these are so cool. One of them actually had maybe 60 years ago, somebody did a book on that house because it was that historical, and they had that laid out on the counter. I thought, why wouldn't you want to have one of those with every one of these historical homes? If you're the agent that specializes in that, set yourself apart and show what you do, and do the interviews, meet the people. But people love talking about their house. If they bought one of those, that's the whole reason they bought it. They wanted to live in it, they want to share it, and they want to tell a story. And if you're the storyteller, my gosh, they're gonna give you all kinds of business. So, and it can be done with pretty much anything if you think about it. I mean, there's more niches than there are,
Now there is a tiny house revolution. Everybody wants a tiny house, so be the specialist on the tiny house.
Yeah, my gosh.
There is Earthship houses.
There's
Earthship houses that are starting to pop up over here. But then you could do the divorce, the bankruptcy, the attorney, the probate. So find a niche, something that you like already.
Yeah, find something. Yeah, one of the things that Jamal and I talked about, he loves the luxury high-end race cars. I mean, he just loves those things, which I get. I mean, I like them too. But so one thing he could do is focus on homes that might have a garage that these cars would go into, which it's not just any garage. It's not going to be in just any neighborhood. It's going to be something with an elevator or a place to hide this place. So you could literally study those markets and blog about them, talk about them, write about them, post stuff on Facebook about them. And guess what? Pretty soon people are going to say, yeah, this guy really knows what I want in a house. I mean, I got a $180,000 car sitting here. My house is $1.5 million. I want to have a nice place for this car. Or maybe you do the what do they call them? The garage man cave spaces. Have you guys have seen them? I went to one of them earlier this year. The guy owns 5 of them. He's got, well, I think if you guys saw my Facebook post, we drove several of their cars out to Arrowhead for a day. This guy owns 5 of these spaces, and they're 60, 80,000 each. You could do nothing but sell those spaces for people. They need to know that those exist, and you talk about them, go interview people that have those spaces too. So
I focus on a lot of just new builds, new construction, and the contemporary architecture, and just that industrial. I find
the loft conversion type thing.
Loft type of style. I find people that like that in my target market. So that's just what
I've
been
absolutely
targeting lately. Just doing open houses and videos and just trying to learn about as much as I can, and then share that information with people just so I become the expert on that type of house.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, you're learning it because you can master a market in 6 weeks if you dig deep into one. But if you're trying to be all things to everybody, you'll never master it. I mean, find something that appeals to you, maybe somewhere you like to live, maybe something that's up and coming, maybe it's a community that's like the tiny house community. I think they opened one downtown for,
Mhm.
it was kind of a homeless thing, but if you could be the person that guides that and get, you sell a lot to somebody that can put 25 of these things on there, guess who the hero is, guess who gets all the publicity, and maybe you can make that your niche. I mean, there's money in it. There definitely is.
You
No one
know,
else is.
doing that in resort areas now, Steamboat.
Really?
In Steamboat, I keep in touch with people up there. And the big problem in Breck, Steamboat, a lot of these places, they don't have housing for employees.
Right, it's too expensive to
So,
live.
Yeah, it's too expensive to live and whatever. So Steamboat is putting in like 45, they bought the old KOA campground and are putting in 45 or something like that, tiny homes.
Really?
Yeah.
Tiny house nation.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. So the article was in the Denver Post and it's talking about, I think Breckenridge is looking at doing it and one of the other resorts up in the mountains.
Yeah, it makes so much
It's a
sense.
big thing around here.
Yeah, I mean, I know Aspen, those guys got to drive from Carbondale because they can't
Right,
afford to live anywhere
right.
near
Yeah, when I
there.
lived
So,
in Steamboat, everybody lived in either Oak Creek or,
yeah,
and they took an hour drive to come into work every day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
to make minimum wage.
Right,
So why
exactly.
not
But
live
they got a
close?
free ski pass.
Oh, yeah, that's why you do that.
Jamal, have you seen that show on Discovery Channel that's the wealthy homes or something? I forget, it's on every week. But they had one last week. I was watching it. It's out in California. They built a home inside of a mountain. And the top part of the house actually spins. They put it on a motor that spins. But the garage is only a one-car garage, but it holds 18 cars.
Awesome.
And it's got this decorative concrete floor. So you drive in, to get the car out, there's a turntable you drive the car on, and you can physically, a child can push the car so it turns around and you can drive out the garage door.
Really?
Yeah, because they only have one garage door to get in there.
So they have to,
So
wow.
they had the turntable. You put the car on this turntable and you can spin it around space, space saving. Really cool house.
It's, somebody was telling me LeBron James bought a place in Aspen and he has a basketball court that's 5 stories below his house.
Oh,
In the
in
mountain.
Cherry Creek, I saw that house.
Well, this was in the mountains, I understand.
And there's one in Cherry Creek.
Is there?
They dig
Dug
in so
down?
deep, and people start asking why he's doing his tennis court over there.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's, I mean,
I gotta get around, guys.
all right, yeah. Have fun driving.
Yeah.
Oh, it's moving pretty quick.
Yeah. All right now.
Anybody else have questions? I mean, we could definitely wrap it up. It was,
Yeah. So you send us the email, or we just receive it and we send it to everybody else.
okay.